Who is Charli XCX? Let's get into it. All right, let's get into the myth, the wonder behind the amazing Charli XCX. So today we're going to be going over some history on this amazing artist who has such a unique upbringing and kind of rise to stardom. We're going to give you some fundamentals on Charli XCX so that we can all kick off this series with a good grounding on who this really kind of breakthrough artist is. So, Pi, why don't you give us a little bit of history and background on Charli's upbringing?
You got it, Arturo. Now let's take a trip down memory lane and uncover the fascinating journey of the one and only Charli XCX. Born Charlotte Emma Aitchison on August 2nd, 1992. In Cambridge, England, Charli grew up in Start Hill, Essex, with a unique blend of Indian and Scottish heritage. Her musical career began in 2008 with the release of her debut album, 14, funded by her supportive parents. But it was her 2013 major label debut, True Romance, that truly launched her into the spotlight. She wowed audiences with hit collaborations like I Love It with Icona Pop and Fancy with Iggy Azalea. And who could forget the unforgettable Boom Clap, which landed in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100. Charli XCX has never been one to rest on her laurels. She's continued to evolve and experiment with each album, from Sucker in 2014 to the more recent Crash in 2022. This journey has been full of twists and turns, from good ones to new shapes and everything in between.
Totally. She has such a huge kind of repertoire of music across her entire career from her start, right? I mean, like having that first song with Icona Pop is quite amazing because that was a huge hit at that time. Something that I think is also interesting that you didn't mention, Pi, is that when Charli was growing up and just beginning to write songs, she actually posted her songs on MySpace. I mean, throwback to that social platform that was such a core part of my teenhood. But she actually posted her songs on MySpace that ultimately led to her
Oh my
discovery.
goodness. Yes, Arturo. You're absolutely right. And that's such an important part of Charli XCX's story. Back in the days of MySpace, young Charli was already carving out a space for herself in the music world. Can you imagine discovering her music on MySpace, of all places? It's incredible to think about how far she's come since those early days, and it's a testament to her talent and drive. And you're right, collaborating with Icona Pop on I Love It was a massive moment for Charli XCX. The song was a huge hit, reaching the top 10 in several countries. I mean, I Love It was everywhere from dance floors to radio stations, and it really helped cement Charli XCX's reputation as a formidable songwriter and artist.
Totally. And I think like why I'm like so excited about this latest album, Brat, is that it's kind of throwing back to like where Charli started because when she was discovered on MySpace, a promoter actually invited her to start performing at like local warehouse raves. And I remember in an interview she was saying that her parents would drive her to the warehouse raves and like obviously supervise her as she performed because she was very young in age. But I think it's just such a vibe that she has had such a diverse mix of music since she really has grown into stardom, but now she's going back to her core.
Oh my gosh, yes, Arturo. Can you imagine being driven to a warehouse rave by your parents? It's such a unique and cool origin story for Charli XCX. It's so interesting that she got her start performing at these underground parties, which is really a testament to her versatility and willingness to try new things. And you're right, her musical style has always been incredibly diverse. She's never been afraid to blend different genres and experiment with new sounds, from the electro-pop vibes of True Romance to the more punk-infused Sucker, and now the 90s-inspired Brat. Charli XCX has always been ahead of the curve. I think it's amazing how she's been able to draw inspiration from such a wide range of sources too. Like, who would have thought that 90s pop icons like the Spice Girls and Britney Spears would influence her latest album? It's all just so fascinating.
Yeah, I totally agree. And she's been such an influence in the industry at large. So I'm just so excited to continue to see her rise and excited to be talking about this latest album, which is no doubt one of her best. So I think on that note, we are going to call it a day on this episode and remind you all to keep your thoughts deep and your minds open and stay tuned for our next one.